Our question says, a cylinder has a volume of 390 centimeters cubed. If a cone has the same dimensions as the cylinder, what is its volume? So when I look at the question, it tells me that it's a cylinder and that the volume is 390 centimeters cubed. We have a cone with the same dimensions. Same dimensions mean same length, width, height, radius, so it has the same different measurements on the shape. And it wants to know what is the volume of that cone. So I always like to start with a picture and then go from there. So I have a cylinder. And then I have a cone, and it has the same dimensions. So it should have the same radius. It should have the same height, right? So they should have the exact same radius. And they should have the exact same height. Okay, so this one has a volume of 390 centimeters cubed, and I want to know what is the volume of the cone. So there are a couple of different ways to tackle this question. So I'm going to start by looking at their formulas on the formula sheet, and then we will talk about some alternatives to things that you can do. So if I look at a cylinder on my formula sheet, we are talking volume. It is pi r squared h. The volume of a cone is pi r squared h divided by 3. They seem kind of similar. So if I look at the two formulas, they're both pi, they're both r squared, they both have an h. The only difference is that this one is divided by 3. So we know that these have the same radius, they have the same height, so those parts are the same. The only thing that's different about this one is that this one is divided by 3. So one of the things I can do, we'll do in a second, is I can try to use the 390 centimeters to see if I can puzzle out how to calculate this. But something else you could do is you could choose a dimension, say for the radius, like let the radius be 10, use the 390 to calculate what the height would be, and then use that height to calculate your new volume. You could do that, right? So you could make up one of the dimensions, solve for the other dimension using the given volume, and then use that new answer to calculate what the volume of that shape would be. But I don't think I need to do that. So here on this side, it says volume is pi r squared h, which is 390 centimeters cubed. On this side, it also has pi r squared h, but it's divided by 3. So since the r and the h are the same for these shapes, I know that pi r squared h equals 390 centimeters. So here, I can take out the pi r squared h and put in 390 centimeters, but divided by 3. So 390 divided by 3 is 130. So it would be 130 centimeters cubed. So the volume is 130 centimeters cubed. So like I said, if they didn't have a similar formula, then what you could do is you could pick a number, say for the radius, because it had to be squared. I think it's a little easier to do that. So like let the radius be 10, use your formula, set it equal to 390, solve for the height, and then use that radius and height in order to calculate your volume. And that would work. But because these have very similar formulas, right, the only difference is this one's being divided by 3. If I know that pi r squared h is 390, then it's 390 divided by 3, which is 130.